Hey everyone, welcome back to On Strike TV. Jason here, and today we have Bob. Say hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
And today we are actually going to do a DIY repair of, you see the light up there, and you see that flickering? Due to this light switch right here, it's actually all jacked up, and if you're quiet enough, you could hear sizzling happening. You heard that? That sizzling noise? So this is actually, right? And this is messed up or just older?
It could be a bad contactor or it could just be a really crappy connection. One of the two, but most likely it's the contactor inside of the switch is not quite hitting like it should.
So what we're going to do today is just going to do a full replace of this light switch here, and that should fix the sizzling and the actual flickering up there, right?
Absolutely.
All right, let's move forward.
All right, so don't do what the electrician is doing. Always make sure you go find the breaker. If you have a partner in your home, have them go downstairs or wherever your breakers are located at, and have them turn off breakers. Hopefully it is labeled correctly. I'm going to say 75% of my experience has taught me that it's never actually labeled correctly. So you're going to have to take all of these screws out of this plate, and whenever you see the light turned off with the breakers that you or somebody else is helping you with, when you magically see the light go off, that will let you know that the breaker is off and there is no power in this. All right, so once you get that done, then what you're going to do is you're just going to take this switch physically out. Obviously, like I said, you're not going to be doing it hot like I am, so you won't have the issue of having to be a little bit more careful than what I am actually doing. So, and when I get the switch out, I'll show you there's actually two different ways to install these wires on this switch. There is the I'm a lazy electrician way, and then there's the right way. So you're going to want to gently pull this out, and then you're going to notice that there is 3 wires attached to this. So what we're going to want to start with is we're going to remove this ground wire right here. So we just take that off, and you don't have to be as careful and as gentle as I mean, because obviously your circuit is going to be off. So now there's 2 different ways to install a light switch. So what we have here is what we call a backstab. Backstab is a no-no because it's just not a good connection. There are screws on the side of this switch right here that will allow you to actually terminate on the screw. So what you do is a lot of times if you just have a pair of linemen's like these, doesn't matter your brand, and you're just going to come back and pull. When you get one of the wires off, you're going to magically notice that the light just turned itself off. All right, and once you get that other one off, a lot of times what you can do is you can hold it and kind of twist, and it just depends on exactly how it is. So here's our new switch right here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to curl these wires to go around these screws. Always make sure whatever way you're going to be tightening it, you're going to want to make sure that the curl goes the same way you tighten, because if it's going this way, when you're going to go do this, it's going to make this lip flop over, and then you're not going to have a very good connection, and then you're going to be doing this in a few more weeks because your connection is kaput.
Oh, that's good to know. Yeah.
All right, so now there's multiple ways you can do this. As you see on this ground wire right here, we have a lot of paint on that, and latex paint is not conductive at all. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take our linemen's and just kind of try to get a lot of that darn paint off. So now with these switches, you're going to just take it and you're going to curl this wire just like this. All right. And then you're going to take that and you're going to go bada bing, bada boom. All right. So what I like to do is take my linemen's and kind of curl that around. That way you've got a good connection and it's going all the way around the screw. Then you're just going to take your screwdriver and you're going to and make sure that's good and tight. You ain't got to go absolutely bat poop crazy with that. Now, with this one, I'm going to grab this with my lineman, slide that down. I'm going to pull that.
And the black is hot. Right?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, okay.
Because this wire, it appears to be white. However, if you look there, that is just a whole lot of paint on a black wire.
Okay.
The struggles, man. The struggles. So, and we're just going to curl that like yeah. We'll put that to the side. And then we're going to curl this as well. So then you're going to pick this switch up and you're going to grab hold of this just like this. All right. And if you got a tail like right there on that thing, if you just take it up, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If it wasn't the fact that this was hot, I would just, reach up there with my hands and do this. However, we don't want to do that. All right. Make sure the switch is off. That way you're not getting a load spark. And you're going to do the same thing. And see, when you do something silly like that, what I did was I touched the hot wire to the ground. So bear with me 1 second. Now that the circuit is off, let me just turn my flashlight on so y'all can actually see exactly what we're doing now.
That was wild.
All right. So we're just going to go meh. And we're just going to tighten these down around these screws. All right. And like I said, you ain't got to go absolutely crazy with these, but just make sure it's pretty darn tight, Make sure it's not loose, because we don't want loose connections, because loose connections have issues. Now, on your switches, on these single poles, I'm not sure if you can see it in this particular light, but we can come back to this once we turn the circuit back on. So if you look here, it says off. On the other side, it says on. If you don't have that, that means that you're not installing a single pole switch. Sorry for the goofy noise on the phone. So also one other thing to let you know that when the off and on position, your ground will always be to your left side. Because see, you're just going to push this in like that. Grab your screwdriver. Now, depending on the age of your home, a lot of times you actually don't have to physically screw these in. A lot of times all you need to do is just kind of jiggle that in there, and then that screw just magically goes in.
Oh, that's
depending on the calluses on your fingers, sometimes you can do it with your thumb. And sometimes you actually have to physically put the darn screw in. Bah humbug to that. Now don't go going crazy tight, because you have to line up all of these devices. So as you see here, we have a little bit of gap here, a little bit of gap here, and we're just going to slide this to where the gap actually aligns back over to that. Then we're going to take this plate, pop it back on. Be careful, there's 2 different styles of plates. Mr. Jason just happens to have one of these lovely ones that is what they call an unbreakable one. Oh. So that means I can twist this thing and it doesn't snap. However, you might not necessarily have that in your home. You might have an older style plastic one that if you literally tighten this screw a quarter turn too tight, it will actually physically snap the plate. And we know the switch was working because whenever I initially did that, the light magically came on. However, you're not going to be able to tell that because you're going to be smart and you're going to actually turn the power off, unlike I did. Now, depending on the age of your home, you may have an arc fault breaker that has a white button or a yellow button on it. Or you could just have a standard breaker. However, the way it tripped, it tells me that Jason has arc faults in this particular house. Anything above 2002 is going to have, at minimum, 2 arc fault breakers. Now, depending on the age of your house, the newer you get, the more arc fault breakers you're going to have. So that is that, and I'm literally going to go run downstairs real quick, turn the breaker on, and as soon as I turn the breaker on, the light will magically pop on.
All right, you can see the lights are back on. Bob went to go turn on the breaker, and everything seems to be working just fine now. So let's give it a little test with the light switch to see if we hear that sizzling noise at all. So here we go. Light switch off. And back on. No more sizzling, no more flickering, it looks like. There we go. Thanks, Bob, for that play-by-play.
Absolutely.
That was amazing. If you like this type of content, like and subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one. Again, this was the DIY light switch replacement fixture of a sizzling light switch. All right, see you guys. Bye. You want to say bye, Bob?
Bye, Bob.